All right, guys, welcome to the Kingdom. We are back with the podcast, and as you can tell, a little bit of a different change of scenery here. Royalty Trades is not joining us, but we are still keeping the Kingdom going. We are joined by a few of the amazing traders here in the Discord of the Kingdom here. We are joined by New Fish Big Pond. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It's a beautiful day.
Absolutely, man. As usual, we're going to be talking about a lot of things here. We got Purunga. As we know, Purunga's been shouting out some amazing trades this week on After Hours and the Discord as well. Purunga, how you doing?
Doing well. Happy to be here. Happy Sunday.
Awesome. And as always, we have the VIX queen herself, Carly. Carly, hope you're having a great time and we're ready to start the week off here.
I am, and I'm excited to be with you guys. And holy shit, are we in for some fun this week? I can't wait.
I know it's gonna be a crazy week we got here, guys. So again, we got a lot of things to talk about in today's market here. So we'll just Photoshop Royalty Trade's face here somewhere to make him feel like he's part of the team still. But so we can talk about first thing I think we should talk about is last week's earnings, right? We had some pretty good earnings reports come out, I believe. I know Tesla did not do that well with earnings. We had Google, which had pretty good earnings here. What did you guys think about earnings? New Fish, anything you saw in particular you liked?
So I'll tell you what I like last week. I didn't really pay attention to earnings. Didn't really bother me. It was the first week of like bigger earnings that I wasn't just watching bank stocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm paying more attention to this coming week.
All right, what we got? All right? Give me a ticker. Go ahead. We'll pull one up here. Give me a ticker. What are you looking at? I know one of the ones that you're going to say, but say it anyways.
And I'll start off with it first. Robinhood, man. Robinhood definitely
Yes,
comes
sir.
to mind. That is one that I am really looking forward to seeing their earnings. I just happen to think that they've been doing great. We've all seen their share price as of recent, and with all the backing of crypto that's happening and the momentum behind it, I see Robinhood just having a really great earnings. Let's see here. What else this week? We've got
into its earnings.
Into it? Is that what you said?
What kind of reaction are you expecting? Because it is been on a tear. So can it continue?
It's like parabolic.
Yes.
As parabolic as you can get, I feel like, is Robinhood right now.
Is there room for it to go up that much more, or is it going to finally have some consolidation after the earnings?
Oh, I think I don't know about after earnings. My plan for Robinhood is to trade ROBN, the 2x leverage. So I think that'll be a good way for me to get into it. I can ride it into the earnings statement, and then I can try to sell it, as a spike happens in either direction. That's not going to be an option that I'm going to be stuck in until the next day if it goes against me.
I would not play options on any earnings this season. Not at all. It's just, things are just way, way overbought, and it's just too dangerous because you just have no idea how the market's going to react to earnings.
Very true.
There's been, no rhyme or reason to it, and it's smart money's just been so unpredictable right now that you just have no idea what they're going to think of the earnings. I don't know. It's difficult.
Meanwhile, I'm out here trading 4-leg options on earnings and just hoping for some huge movements in either direction here. So I'm just like, whatever. So teach their own on that one for sure. But yeah, I think earnings is always a tough one, obviously, because like for example, Google had a really good beat. I know they beat, I think, top and bottom line, and there was a little bit of a good reaction. If I pull up the Google chart here, there was a little bit of a good reaction, but then it just kind of pulled back afterwards. So the market was like, yeah, it's good, but you can see that little spike right here. It was a good earnings report, and then it just came right back down. Now it's consolidating again, it looks like, on the charts. So I wonder if, like, Hood, for example, and you guys can obviously all weigh in your opinion here, but would Hood be something almost like NVIDIA where it's going to have a great earnings, but does Wall Street want more? Because NVIDIA happens all the time where they always want more. And NVIDIA can beat across the board and still sell off 4 or 5%. People are like, what the heck? And it's like, well, Wall Street wants more. So do you guys think that Hood might be in that kind of conversation where the market might want more than what it what it provides for it, and it still comes back as a correction.
Because Robinhood needs to answer for how much it's grown and since its last earnings. That's right. When they want more, they want to make sure that their valuation is on,
Correct.
that the stock is actually worth what it's priced at right now. And I don't know. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't have a Hood account. I
You're missing out.
I,
It's fun.
I guess so. I think for me, it would be kind of a little more dangerous because for me, it's like a mixture. I have a DraftKings account, I have a Coinbase account, and I have my brokerage account. And they're all very separate entities, and each gets their own amount of money to them every month that I let myself play with, If
Yeah.
all of it was in one, I think I would be a gambling addict. I mean,
I think the
it's against
platform,
Fish,
the
Fish,
platform
what
would
do
have.
you what are you thinking? What do you think about Hood, Fish?
So I actually think Hood is going to do well. I
Okay.
think I think they're going to have really good forward guidance as well. And here's why. It came out last week that we're going to start changing some SEC rules on day trading, folks. You're no
Yeah.
longer
Oh,
going to
yeah.
have you're no
no
longer going
kidding.
to have 25K in your account to qualify as a day trader before you get
Mhm.
hit with the PDT charge. No, all you're going to have to do is have 2K in your account, and you can do unlimited day trades. This is where the
And
brokerages make their money, but
the stock market,
this is especially where Robinhood makes their money. A lot.
absolutely.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
What?
Carly. Oh, I
That
thought
would
you.
completely change the stock market, by the way. I posted about that. It would
Yes.
completely change the markets. The VIX would completely change. It would change everything
Yep.
about the stock market. I'm all for it. I am
Right.
all for it. Let's shake shit up because I think that would put retail traders on more of a level playing field.
Well,
Yep.
I mean, there was that talk about extending the aftermarket session to like 11 p.m. or something like that, and then reopening it
Yeah.
at 1 a.m. It was going to be a 22-hour market.
I
Yep.
think they're going to shoot for 24 at some point in the future. We're going to hit 24 hours probably.
For
Yeah,
sure.
we
Yeah.
will. We
Yep.
will. But so no, I think that's going to look good for Hood. And then I
Mhm.
know I say this a lot, but guys, Hood was designed to keep users engaged on their platform more than any other brokerage platform. It was
Oh,
designed. It was designed to act and look like and feel like a video game in order
Right.
to
yeah.
keep people there longer. Yes.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
example, I mean, really, because like I said, it's got the prop type of betting where you can bet, on Fed cuts and all those types of things. Does it have sports betting in it?
So
Not
right
You
yet.
do.
now,
Yep. You do sports predictions.
See?
Oh,
you can
you're right.
only
You're
do
right.
sports predictions on championship series.
Okay.
Now, what I feel is coming, I feel like this is just the beginning. It's just like when Hood tried to do, I forget what first game they wanted to do, and the SEC said no, and everyone said that was bearish. I said it was bullish because what it did is it gave Hood a framework to give to the lawyers to work around, and they ended up doing exactly that. They worked around
Mhm.
that the SEC objections, and now they can do these championship series and semifinal series sports betting. What I think is going to happen by football season, I believe by football season they will have figured out a way to offer quote unquote contracts on individual NFL games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
That'd be awesome.
that's literally and figuratively a game changer. So now you have, like I said, you have DraftKings, Coinbase, and your favorite brokerage all in one shot. And that means all of your money is going to that.
Well, let's not forget about the Robinhood Gold credit card. Let's
Oh,
not let's not forget that they're offering bonuses to transfer your IRA, and
that's
let's not forget that they either have or very soon are going into home mortgage industry. So
oh,
Yep.
you can literally be on your app to do everything, and
that home mortgage
that's
thing
good for business.
is
They'll keep you
really
there 7 days a week.
it's huge because and I don't get this, but for some reason this young generation isn't into home buying, and for me, the interest rate, my first home interest rate was 7%. I think 4%, well, I guess it's in the six. It's not that high, but I think now if they had mortgages set in the same place where they have their brokerages accounts, that would really, really open up this young generation to start buying homes and to start taking on mortgages.
Well, we also have to get the, you know,
Interest rates down.
median home price down as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Also true.
Yep.
if you live in a high cost of living area, it's extremely hard for younger folks to buy a condo. It's pretty hard for middle aged folks to buy a condo or a home in a high cost of living area unless you have a
A high pay.
really great paying job. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So Purunga, what do you think about Robinhood? I mean, I don't know if you have any sort of insight on this one. I'm sure you have some cool things to talk about for Robinhood. What do you think? Do you think we're gonna get a beat here? Do you think we're gonna get yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a good numbers for us, but do you think anything about Robinhood expectations for the future?
Are
You
you gonna
know,
play this?
am I going to do anything with it? Probably not. Um,
Oh,
I kind of agree with Carly though, where it's like they moved very quickly up. Like they're kind of got to prove it. So
mhm.
Right.
if anything's slightly weak, it might react negatively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind Robinhood, but I just don't see why it's $100 stock right now. I own Robinhood. Don't get me wrong, but I don't I don't fully understand and see it. But that's just me.
Yeah,
I
yeah. No, no, yeah. I think it's something gonna be something good to watch. I will say one thing on my end of things, for my argument's sake. I'm starting to feel like my personal feeling is that I feel like it's gonna be leaning towards how they play in video, where it's gonna have good numbers, but I feel like Wall Street's gonna want more, like you guys are saying about having the backup of the expectations about how this company should be valued this way. But the one thing that's really interesting to note also is that the sports predictions, they started marketing that at the end of March, I believe, which was the end of Q1. So now we're gonna have a full quarter
Mm.
with sports
um,
predictions now in. So I'd be curious to see how they break those numbers down in their earnings call and see how much money they're making. Because if they come in and say, look at how much money we've made from this prediction section, like that's going to be bullish long term because people love to gamble, people love to do those kind of things. So I think you get some really good numbers for the sports betting section, or for the sports predicting section, I should say. I think that's going to be a really good bullish indicator for Robinhood, I think. And that might start to back up the valuation of this company because you have this money coming in from different things. It's just like what you said, New Fish. They get paid for swiping, right? The more you swipe on that app, the more they're making money from rebates because of market makers and the spreads and some of that. Like that's
Right.
all they want. They want you swiping. You swipe on this one, and just like what you said, also with the pattern day trading, that thing goes down to $2,000. People are going to be swiping 14, 20 times a day instead of
Absolutely.
14 times a month. And that's going to be just more rebates for Robinhood. Who's going to win? I think I made a video about this earlier. Who's going to win with pattern day trade rules? Brokers, no matter what. Doesn't matter which one it is. They all make their money
Right.
from swiping. And that's where it's going to be in the discussion. My follow-up question, though, which I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this, and I talked about it in my video from before also, was how inequitable is it going to be? Because what if Robinhood sets theirs at 5,000, Webull sets theirs at 3,000? Because it seems like they let the brokers kind of set, they be able to set their own margin requirements. So how would you guys feel about that? Carly, what do you think about that?
that's really interesting. I didn't actually think about that. I would be shocked if Robinhood did that. I would think of all the brokerages, they would probably set the lowest. I
Yeah,
think if you're talking like an E-Trade or a Fidelity, they would probably
right.
set those higher because it is a very different demographic. Hood accounts, I would bet a very large percentage of hood accounts are $2,000 and under. So
Right.
they, that's why they would want it there, because you're right. You're
Yeah.
talking about from one trade a day to an unlimited number of trades a day. But that's a really good point, Fridge. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like I really think about it because like say that like the more popular brokerages right now are Webull and Robinhood. People know those. Obviously, there's Fidelity and the Schwab and stuff like that. But the ones that the younger generation are probably moving towards more are those Webulls, those Robinhoods. So, but let's say that like Robinhood puts their margin limit at 2,000. Webull says we don't want to take on that much more risk because that's more risk for margin calls. Let's set it at 5,000. How many people are going to then switch from Webull to then Robinhood because they get better margins to then do better trading with on day trades? Fish, what do you think about that? Any thoughts or insights?
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to say that I agree with everything that Carly said, with the exception that I want to add Webull in to the $2,000 minimum day trading thing. We're like, Webull is going to try to compete with Robinhood.
For sure.
And Webull doesn't have some of the things that Robinhood does, but what Webull does offer is in my opinion, the best platform for day traders. They're going to want to make it. They're going to want to get as many day traders as they can. Therefore, I think that they'll keep the 2,000 minimum. They open at 4 a.m. If you want to day trade, yeah, exactly. That's why.
Never too
So like,
early.
I have a Fidelity account for one reason. I have a Robinhood account for another reason, and I have a Webull account because they open at 4 a.m.
Right.
Not
Not everyone else does it.
Exactly. Nobody else does it. So yeah, I think they'll stay low. I think Fidelity, Schwab, people like that, I think they'll stay in the higher range. Maybe they don't stay at 25. Maybe they lower it to 20 or 15, because at the end of the day, we got to remember laws, especially SEC changes, don't get passed without lobbyists, and retail is not sending lobbyists.
Right. Yeah.
So that means that the
100%.
brokerages want this. Yeah, brokerages want this because they know it's going to be profitable.
Yeah, and that's what yeah, go ahead, Carly.
Comments right now. So they've got it open. FINRA has it open for comments until October, and anybody can comment. So that's what's going to then make the decision. It said that if it were to happen, it would probably be about a year from now. But I think because the brokerages are all going to be for it, that I think it's going to pass. I really do. And especially with the administration being so, pro markets and pro crypto and pro all of this stuff, I don't think there's going to be anybody that would say no at this point,
Right. So now my follow-up question now is this, right? And this is all the things that I was thinking about. And Parunga, I would love to hear your thoughts on this because I know you got this kind of mindset. I feel like people have been speculating and saying that the pattern day trading rule being decreased is going to be great for me. I can trade. I can then have access to more day trades and stuff like that. My biggest concern I've had with this, and this is someone from who's as an educator standpoint here, this will be a point as to now to say basically, do we think retail traders are going to just full on full port degen meme stock trade, day trade everything with this new restriction? Or do you think this would be the time now for the people who want to day trade more, who don't have capital, that they would start to educate themselves a lot on risk management, on portfolio size, on entries and exit points, on charting? Do you feel, Parunga, that the people would go towards the educational side now with this in the works? Or do you think we're going to full on go full degen meme stock part 14 now at this point? What do you think?
Well, I sure hope that people go for the education standpoint, but I would say you're gonna have a lot of people probably crash and burn. Hopefully people do it smart. And,
Yeah.
Just even with 25K, So
yeah. I mean, I think
that
yeah.
7% of retail
trades
trades losing trades.
Yeah. It's like 90. Yeah, it was like nine. There was a study I saw recently that was like 90-something% of people had losing trades for the year or something like that, 2024, something like that.
But
Jeez.
I think in that one paper that I sent out this week, it talked about that, and 70% of retail trades are losing trades. And so
Yeah.
that is a demographic that can only, you have to have $25,000 to day trade. And there's $25,000 takes some time to get there, you know? Either
Mhm.
you have traded yourself there, or you have worked and saved that much money. Um, there's a very different demographic between a 25K account and a 2K account.
That's true.
Correct.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, that 2K account probably isn't going to be more inclined to start making more educated,
Correct.
wiser.
Yes.
You're probably
And
That's
right.
exactly my fear.
yeah.
That doesn't mean it's I think, just younger traders who are new and are probably following other traders and exactly what AH is set up around.
Right. So do you you guys think, and I'd love to hear you guys thought on this as well then. So we're talking about how, like, I mean, I think more of like we saw the meme stock pump ups with Open Door, with rocket companies and the Coles and all that stuff. That we're seeing like the memes coming back into life again. It seems like with the short squeezes and everything. So people are starting to flood towards those meme stock momentum plays. So 2K would just make people probably want to full pour more into those meme stocks because again, they might look at it and be like, oh, 2K is 2K. It's not 30K. It's not 100K. It's 2K. It's 2K. I lost it. I lose it. I lose it. Would this be a indication that maybe the SEC comes back and says, let's not jump from 25K to 2K, but let's jump from 25K to 10K? Would it
Yeah.
be better to have a happy median, kind of like what Fed Waller has been saying for Jerome Powell about rate cuts, where he's like, let's just cut once to see what happens? Do you think it might be more beneficial to drop pattern day trading from 25 to 10,000, see how the retail reacts, because that's who's going to be doing it, using it more, see how markets react and how retail reacts, then drop it down more if you think they've grasped it enough and they're seeing some progress, and not just full on degen margin calls go through the roof, bankruptcies filed over the place, you're homeless. Like, do you guys think that dropping it to 10,000 might be a better median, like a better middle ground? What do you guys think?
So I'll put it this way, right? Let's pretend we're cutting rates, right?
Yep.
And we want a 3% cut. Do we go ahead and do we whack it by 2.9% all at once?
Right.
No, we don't. We don't. Right?
Yep.
We sort of slowly get there, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that might not be a bad idea either. Sure, you want to get to 2K, we can get there, but let's step it down. Let's step it down because as we all know, compounded gains are the most important thing, and compounded losses are going to screw a lot of people over. Only it's only 2K. It's only 2K. It's only 2K. Next thing you know, they've maxed out $50,000 worth of credit cards, and they're thinking about getting a HELOC on their house because they just know this one earnings statement is going to be great.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Yep. Peruga, what do you think? Do you think we should go to 10,000 maybe, like find a middle ground, or do you think just, full porter? If you want to educate yourself, educate yourself. If not, then whatever, do whatever you want to do. You're an adult, you can do it. I mean, because you are 18, you could be 18 to trade your own account, so you're an adult in the standards of things here. So Peruga, what do you think?
Well, can't you be under 18?
I think you
yes,
can.
with isn't that with like a parental custodial account or something like that?
Yeah. With parental consent.
Okay.
Yes.
They can allow you to trade.
Let's just say 18 is the cutoff. The parental ones are different. Let's say 18 and up. You get your own brokerage account. You start it off. Do you think we should do survival of the fittest, good old fashioned like Darwinism, where it's just like, hey, you want to educate, cool, or you don't want to, then who cares? Like, do you think we should go that way, or do you think the SEC should come back and be like, how about we do 10,000? We'll meet you kind of in the middle, and then we'll move it down lower once we feel confident that people are actually educating themselves more. What do you think, Perunga?
Yeah, I mean that's a good thought. I mean, it probably would be better to stagger it slowly, but I would see for the brokers that want to do lowest, quickest. I think, yeah, I mean, why not why not go a little slower and see how people react? But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
if people with having less restrictions, if it's still safe, of course.
Right.
I
I
think
mean,
there's a difference between it being quote unquote beneficial or it being smart. Being
mhm.
beneficial, in my eyes, it would be beneficial for me because I can be on the side of those not so wise trades.
It's true.
It
It's
can
true.
be beneficial to me that I
Mhm.
can make more money off of a large swath of very unwise trades entering the market. But is it smart? Probably not. You know,
Right.
That's true.
And I
And
think it's one
yeah,
of I think it's one of those things where it's like, as someone who's been like, teaching now for over, 6 years, the more and more in the classroom you're teaching people new things. Like you don't just come into class day one. You're just like, all right, guys, we're gonna do this brand new crazy topic, and you're gonna learn it in 45 minutes, and then you're just gonna move on, and we're gonna have a quiz on it. Like like we slowly ease, the generations when we're educating, we slowly ease them up to those harder and harder topics, right? So that's kind of how I'm referencing it here, where it's like you're gonna let people run crazy with this pattern day trading and just go out and do, they're gonna go max out their credit card that has a $10,000 limit on it. They're gonna go max it out to get a loan for it, then trade, lose it. And instead of giving them the discipline to say, hey, 10,000 is what you need,
yeah.
then okay, let's take a look at the data. Let's come back to it. Let's try to ease our way into it because that's the best way. But obviously, as Newfish says, there's lobbyists behind it. There's people behind it. Probably are they going to go for that because it's more, for morale's sake or ethics sake? Probably not. It's about making the money, and if the brokers make the most money from crashing this to $2,000, I think that's probably what they're going to want to go with. Unfortunately.
it's something.
I might also add this in if you guys like, and this is not like a conspiracy theory. You can go ahead and look up the history, like you back test charts. You can back test this history, right? So
Yeah.
if you look at how the SEC officers move after they leave the SEC, their new positions are, we'll just say, quite interesting, right? It's a lot of scratch my back while you're in the SEC, and then as soon as you get out, I've got a $25 million a year corner office CEO job waiting for you. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Right.
Or
government.
whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the sort of backdoor handshakes that happen.
Well, it's
So that's
politics.
another reason why I really do think that this will go. You
I
know,
do.
I
Yeah.
I think what would be smart is like how they do with level three options. If you're below a certain dollar value, you have to pass a test. So like, yeah, we'll give you 2,000, but you
Yes.
need to give us some sort of basis
Yes.
for your knowledge, maybe, and then we'll leave it at 10 until you pass that test, and then you can go down to two.
That would be smart. That would
that
be
would be
Yes.
very, very
great.
smart. Could you
Yes.
Or
imagine just
maybe
being like,
maybe they
they'll
do
just
it.
be like, oh no, go ahead, new fish.
I was just gonna say like maybe they do a thing where it's like, hey, you know what, and this will never happen, but it would be good. Okay, you want to do it you want to day trade with no restrictions at 2,000, no problem. You have to paper trade successfully for a week.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
kind of like how they do the funded accounts, basically, right? We
It,
gotta have a certain amount
it,
of you gotta make a certain
it,
amount of money on a funded account before you get a payout.
exactly.
Love it.
But
Or
who benefits from
option.
that?
Who benefits from that?
The administrator does.
Unfortunately, retail does, and
Yeah,
that's why I said should, and it won't happen.
right. And the
Oh, I
prop
was just
firm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, could you imagine that Perun is like, oh, you gotta do a test. Like, first question, do you know what a call option is? And like, they get that wrong. It's like maybe you shouldn't get access to all of
Right.
this. You don't know what the word option means in this case. But I mean, let me tell you though. Hey, if FINRA's listening to this, FINRA, sign us up. We got some really good ideas. I'm just saying.
There you
I
go.
love
There
it.
you
right.
go.
I think we're doing a great job here. Okay, so moving on from Hood here. So what other we got earnings this week? So Fish we know is just super bullish and loves Robinhood almost as much as Bitcoin. I feel like at this point of his life.
Okay, but you
Do you
know who
guys,
else we have this week? Oh my god! Oh my god!
is it
Guys,
MicroStrategy?
Yeah.
yes,
All right, let's pull up the chart. I know they had a little bit of a pullback recently, right, Fish? A little bit.
guys.
No, not.
Yeah, I don't care. Guys. I got the biggest smile on my face right now. It's amazing. So, on July 31st, we have MicroStrategy reporting earnings, right? Which I always love. It's great. Negative 18,000 EPS. It's a beautiful number to watch, right? It's crazy. And I'm like, yay, that's where half my port is. Awesome. Love it. Love
Yeah, right.
it. So, and don't worry because Michael Saylor just went ahead and bought a ton more Bitcoin this weekend, just before earnings. But here's what I'm so happy about, guys. This is the first earnings statement or the first earnings report that we're going to be able to show Bitcoin profits. We're going to be able to show profits from Bitcoin holdings, guys. We've never been able to show that before.
And why is that? Do you know why?
The banking regulations that recently changed.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How has MicroStrategy usually
At least
moved?
that's my belief. That's my belief.
Has there usually been a huge move with MicroStrategy earnings, or is it just kind of just like it just moves like 5% every day anyway? So like, who cares?
Dude, honestly, like I really don't know because MicroStrategy is so volatile as it is. I just treat it as like, hey, there's another day of volatility. It's like I'm used to having 20% swings in my port. And it's
Right.
like I'll open my port one day and be like, hey, I just lost 20% today. Awesome. But it comes back, volatility is built into MicroStrategy. It's all part of the plan. Now, I was talking to my chat GPT, and I want to preface by saying I think my chat GPT is way off. I don't believe this one, right? But I've trained my chat GPT to be a high risk, high reward trader. And so I asked it what they projected as the share price after earnings, considering all this new ability to include Bitcoin profits. And they said a minimum of $1,000. I don't believe that at all. I really don't. But I mean, hey, you know what? 500, 550, maybe.
What's the expected move?
It's lofty.
Does anyone know?
I haven't looked it up.
I can tell you guys. Give me a second. I got the Warren Buffett tool. Don't worry. The Warren Buffett tool doesn't let me down ever.
Dude, that's actually that's what I was actually about to just say is like, oh man, I should use that tool. That Warren Buffett tool is so great. Shout out to Warren Buffett.
So good.
Yeah, shout out to Warren Buffett on After Hour. He created this amazing tool that just has the ability to help so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I used it and he hit me up after Intel and he was like, when did you run your predicted value? Because you hit like the price point like on the dot. And I was like, I don't remember. I just did like after the market closed one day or something like that. So he was like, oh, okay, I'm just looking at some data and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I thought it was like really, really funny. So I could pull up here. Let me take a look and see what MicroStrategy is looking at. I'm sure it's probably like I was looking at doing my 4 option leg strategy with them, but it was going to be $200 to $300, and I just was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not paying that much for it. That just was not going to happen for me. So let's take a look here. So here is, I don't know if you guys see my screen here. I think you guys. Oh wait, no, hang on. I'm on the wrong tab here. Give me a second because I'm on a different. You guys see it? Would you guys able to see it or no? You still see my trading view?
No, we see trading view only right now.
Okay, I'm on a different tab. Hang on a second. Whoops. So much pressure. It's okay. So it works out really, really nicely. I know for sure. I've loved it, and it's been a lot more accurate compared to like the other ones I've used, which have been really nice. I don't know if you guys know, but there's another one. Bar chart does a pretty good one too, I believe. Which is pretty cool. Okay, so all right, we're good. All right, we're up here. MSTR for this week. Let's see what the move is. Obviously, it's going to expand as we know for volatility. We're looking at a 7.6% move for the week.
Okay.
This week it looks like.
I wonder if that includes earnings.
Well, so what's probably going to happen is that this number is going to expand when you get closer and closer to earnings on the 31st. So it'll probably have a little bit more of a higher move, as what my guess would be. That's what I would hope. I also like the Warren Buffett tool because it gives me a bit. Usually they come in at a higher implied volatility and a higher expected move, and I need that. So I always like their tool the best, by speaking. But yeah, so I mean they're looking at not too. You're looking at a decent move in the direction, about 7.6%. Fish, I don't know if how you feel about that or not.
Pretty low IV, honestly, too.
What's that,
Yeah, I thought
low?
it'd be higher. Yeah, I thought it'd be higher,
It's
honestly.
probably going to get higher by
I
Wednesday, but go ahead.
think
Yeah,
around,
no,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
53.8 for MicroStrategy is absolutely nothing, you know.
Yeah. It'll
yeah.
get in the range for sure.
It's got to get.
I mean,
I will say this. I am definitely not as good of a trader as Warren Buffett is. I mean, both Warren Buffetts, you know.
right.
I do try to learn something from both of them as well. So I mean, hey, I gotta trust this guy's tool. You know, I just thought that it would be higher. I thought that the new way that they're the new ability to report profits from Bitcoin, I just figured that would have a much higher swing.
Let me
Yeah, well, let's
see.
see what's
Let
Hood coming in at right now.
me
Hood's
pull
already
in.
at 90. Hood's at 96% implied volatility already at this
Yeah.
For
point.
what?
I
Brungo, what you gonna say?
I was looking at my tasty trade, just seeing what they said the expected move was going to be, and they had it at 21.36. So
For MicroStrategy?
yeah. So similar to what
Yeah,
looking
that
at.
sounds about right.
All right.
Well, but then again, maybe it's harder to predict the expected move on a company like MicroStrategy because until recent years, a company like MicroStrategy hasn't really been a thing to really work
Fundamentally,
with.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they're trying to figure out how they can even price a predicted move because again, you could see MicroStrategy miss their earnings by 500% or whatever. I think there was one time, Fish, you would probably know more than I would. Wasn't there a miss where it missed by like a huge percentage? And I thought it was like the
Last
funniest
one,
percent I've ever seen.
it was
Yeah.
like 1,000%.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it still went up.
yeah.
It still went up.
And it's
So
going up.
you can't.
Shut up. It's fucking.
So you can't really, I think that's probably why you can't really this is just like throwing implied volatility at a dartboard and just hoping that you hit it somewhat. And I think as more and more earnings come out with this kind of company, they'll start to have a better indication as to where to predict the move for earnings. I think it's still too early, and also Bitcoin is still a pretty volatile movement in and of itself as a crypto. So they could miss by 1,000% and still go up. They could beat by 400% and go down who knows how much, right? Who knows, right?
So,
What would be interesting though would be to see if MicroStrategy becomes profitable, like earnings per share wise. I would love to see that at some point. Fish, go ahead.
the way that they're going to calculate for not just for MicroStrategy for all companies that are doing like Bitcoin crypto holdings, right, reserves and strategies and shit like that. The way that they're going to do it is they're going to go by the closing price of Bitcoin the day before earnings.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I had read. I mean, don't take that as the gospel. I read that. I forget where, but I try not to read garbage.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that Riot has their earnings on the 31st. I think it's pre-market. I just looked it up and you can see it on my screen here. They already have an implied volatility of 106%, and they're
What's that?
also a crypto holder.
Yeah, they're a miner, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah. They are.
Yeah, so that's very bizarre that the miner crypto, the Bitcoin miner companies are getting hit with 106% implied volatility of a 15% move, and they're MicroStrategy's 7. It's a good number. Why not? Just throw it out. Let's throw the number out there. Hope for the best. So it's bizarre how they factor these in.
I mean, maybe it's the heavy short position on MicroStrategy. I don't know, but I mean that just seems a little odd to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also be a thing with the share price, right? If you look at the share price of Riot, it's what 10% of, or not 10%, but 20% of MicroStrategy.
Yeah. It's a huge difference. Yeah, 100%. I know that like for example, I'm doing SoundHound AI, which comes out with earnings in 2 weeks, and their expected move is 15+% or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I can get behind that, I guess. So maybe it's those smaller stock prices that get those bigger moves, because they're those ones that are treated almost like penny stocks. Riot's not a penny stock, don't get me wrong, but it's right above penny stock level.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
Compared to it.
Look at Meta as a comparison to MicroStrategy, since it's I think the 31st too.
Yeah, and Purunga, I just read that Meta had an implied move of 14%, I believe.
Oh wow.
So on
Wow.
here, on here, we're looking at 9% according to Warren Buffett's tool.
Okay, so I mean,
9%
it may have
move.
gone down as well.
Yeah. But these moves are going to change a lot as you get closer to the earnings report and the IV expands, and you're looking at those bigger movements and stuff like that, right? So Meta, what is it? Microsoft is this week too, right? What's Microsoft looking
Yeah,
at?
Microsoft is another one that had both Microsoft and Meta had 14% expected moves.
Microsoft is at 6.3% right now, but the volatility is
Wow.
still pretty low. It's 44% before their earn. I mean, that's a low implied volatility. It's fighting close. I would think it's fighting closer to like 70, 80% when it comes to earnings, I would guess.
Yeah, it's gonna go up. But they all are probably.
And then who else? We got Apple, right? Apple's another big one this week.
Yeah, Apple's this week.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Amazon too.
Amazon.
Yep. So
Reddit,
all right.
Spotify.
So Reddit has got to be an astronomically huge implied volatility. I'll look at Reddit
Oh wait,
next.
I believe Reddit is this week. Let me double
They
check.
are.
they
They
are.
are. They are.
They are.
They are. Okay.
Yeah, they're the
So
31st.
Reddit, Spotify. Those
Apple's
are
about the
two that I
same, 6.2%. It kind of in line with like Meta and Microsoft, about like 6 to 7% or so. But again, right now their volatility is 44% right now. It's not a lot of implied volatility for earnings, which
I
isn't too
think
bad.
it's going to do well. It's been so beat up. I think it's going to do well.
You think Apple's going to do well?
For Apple.
I do. Just because it's been so beat up. I do.
Okay, so let's talk about that, right? So because I mean, the way I look at Apple, and I mean, I'm not like an active investor and shareholder of Apple, but like I've looked at Apple like over the last couple of like earnings reports and calls and stuff like that. You look at like what they've come out with. Like they had their conference. When was it? It was like an AI related conference like earlier this year, and they were like made it seem like AI wasn't a priority for them, which was kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of, like you can keep making phones, you keep making the phones over and over again. But like, at what point, to me, like I look at the newest iPhone, in my opinion, I look at my phone, and I can't really see much of a difference. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if like, are they starting to like fizzle out in terms of like their creativity and what they're doing? I don't know. I haven't followed them that closely. Do you guys think that Apple's kind of starting to get a little stale in terms of products?
Well, for sure, they have an AI problem, but I think that they have finally figured out their fix is to go to a third party.
Okay.
So if they and so I think they've probably stopped ramping up trying to build their own AI and are now shopping for AI. That's going to
Okay.
be the key. I think the market, if they take a third party AI provider, the market is going to love that because AI is their problem. I mean, I'm a Samsung girl. I'm not an Apple girl. We
Right.
have AI, and I mean, it's the thing I use the most. I mean, you guys have Siri, but Siri's got to be like my age, right? It's like having an old
Yeah.
out of lady, trying to succeed you info. But I
Mm.
think that's the kicker for Apple, and I feel like they're probably going to talk about that.
Yeah. Fish, any thoughts? Apple?
So Apple, I'm not super bullish on. Honestly, I wouldn't play it. For me, Apple can go either way. So
Yeah.
I would sit Apple out.
Okay. Purunga, anything about Apple?
I have a zebra on for Apple that I've had for like the past month, and I'm gonna maybe hold it through earnings or close it right before. I'm gonna kind of see and play it.
Okay, so Purunga has a safari animal on
Yes,
Apple. I love that.
a
I'm a
zero
zebra. I'm excited.
zero extrinsic back ratio on the. So
Well,
I'm
that because I
synth.
what zebra was besides a black and white animal.
Yeah, no, it's a weird name. It's a weird name.
Purunga's out here playing with safari animals, not even focusing
Yes,
on stocks right now. He's just playing with zebras and stuff like that. It's
yeah.
okay, dude. Maybe you can join us another time for this
But
conversation.
yeah, and long story short, I'm synthetically long 100 shares of Apple. So
Okay.
Okay,
Do you think anything in the guidance is going to come up about regarding because I know they were talking about having phones made in India now, right? When we had the first tariff and stuff like that. Do you think that's going to come up in guidance at all by any chance?
I mean, they
Or
would
in the
probably
questionnaire?
have to mention it, probably similar to like two different guidances, maybe one with including tariffs, one not including tariffs, maybe. They're going to have to
Yeah,
cover it.
potentially.
It'd be smart.
I think I would be curious to hear what their thoughts are on tariffs. Because like for Google, for example, Google was like, we're expanding our CapEx expenditures. Like they're spending more money. So everyone's like, oh, that's super bullish. Like they're just gonna keep pumping more and more money into growing their company and stuff like that. So I'd be curious to hear what Apple has to say in regards to like the tariffs and to everything else going on in that case for sure. I just have never really been like, again, like for me, like I'm thinking about it, like I look at my phone, I look at other people's phones, I'm like, what's the difference? Like, oh, it's a 16. Oh, it's got 4 camera lenses. And I'm like, okay, mine has 3. So what's your point? Like,
That's
I mean, like we're like, what are we comparing here? Like, you want to compare like an extra inch? Like, what are we doing? I don't know what this comparison is that we're doing here. So I've never really understood an aspect where it's like there's other companies that just keep innovating, they keep putting out new things. Like Robinhood, for example. I know we go back to Robinhood, but like they keep testing the waters out and trying to expand into as many markets as they possibly can. I don't see a company like Apple doing that. I feel like they're kind of just sitting in like what's comfortable for them. And like Carly said, until they get that AI third party bought or whatever, maybe you'll start to see some more risks and some more expansions in different markets. But for me, I don't see much with Apple right now. But maybe, maybe Apple's still undervalued. I'm not really sure. I mean, I know they're a good dividend paying company, so people love buying in for the dividends for that aspect of things, but I would be curious to see how Apple does. Let's take a look at Reddit's expected moves. If it'll actually work here. Let's see here. So Reddit, we're looking at a 18.7% move for Reddit earnings this week.
Wow.
that's a it's a
It
Well,
really
I'm,
got
I'm
this
saying
last too.
get that
Again,
card.
Carly?
Hasn't it been beat up the last few months?
Oh, let's look here. Why not? I got trading over. Let's take a
so.
look. I don't know actually. Maybe.
I'm actually
Yeah, a little
bullish.
bit.
I'm actually
I mean,
bullish on Reddit.
it doesn't look overvalued right now, not compared to Hood.
Yeah.
Reddit
I'm
could have a good one.
all right, Fish. Let me hear it. What's your bullish thesis on Reddit? Let me hear it. I'm all
It,
ears.
it it simply has to do with them moving into Southeast Asia and
Okay.
garnering more advertisement. That's it.
Okay.
It,
Love
it
it.
it's just I'm not saying that they're going to have some massive push in American or European user base, but
Mhm.
in Southeast Asia, yes, I do believe that they've already been approved to go in and they've just recently gone in, and so I think that's bullish for them.
I love that. I didn't even know that they weren't in Southeast Asia. That's a really, really good thing to know. I know they also started pushing out more advertising, right? So they're getting a lot more money in from ad revenue and stuff. I believe. If I'm
Well,
not
that's
mistaken. I
why
think
I'm
that was.
bullish.
Yeah. Barunga, any safari animals you got on this one, or what are we doing here?
No, nothing. No Safari. I I do like trading Reddit. I don't own it. Wish I did at the IPO, but I do like trading Reddit. I did have a jade lizard on it, but I closed that on Friday.
That's, that's not a safari animal. That's something else.
Yes, another weird name.
All right.
This guy, okay, yeah. I mean, I think Reddit. I can see Reddit being a really good stock to trade or for selling options because of the high implied volatility. Like you're definitely getting some very, very good premiums. You wanted to sell options on this one. I could only imagine what the premiums are going to be the day before earnings on Reddit and how juiced up they're going to be. I would be really inclined to see what they're going to be like. But definitely, I mean, I have Reddit. I like using it. I like going on Wall Street Bets and just not feeling as bad about my portfolio when I see people lose like $30,000 in a trade. I feel kind of good about myself.
Really?
So that's what I use it. That's usually more what I use it for. But I think Reddit has created this community of people. Wall Street Bets has like 19 million users or something like that, or people signed up for it, which is where those
Wow.
meme stocks and stuff come from. Yeah, it's absolutely insane actually.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's. I mean, people know Reddit. I mean, it's like a common name to be said nowadays. You go into schools, you go into a job, you go anywhere, and you talk about Reddit. Like people are gonna know what Reddit is. Yeah, I know what Reddit is, of course. It's almost like it was 4chan. It's like 4chan almost. I don't really remember. I don't know if you guys know about 4chan, but that was the
Of
same kind of
course.
thing like years ago.
Yes.
So there was 4chan, I think, before Reddit. So it's kind of like that, I think, in a way. And everybody knew 4chan like years ago. So
Yeah.
that was kind of my logic for it. Any other earnings we got? So we got Reddit, we got Apple, we got Microsoft, we got Amazon was another one. I know Carly said.
I
Let's see
got
what Amazon's looking at for a move here.
I've got
And
two
then,
additional ones as well.
Because
all right,
Amazon is going to have to address tariffs. There is no way that they're going to be able to get around tariff, and that's what I'm most tuned into with these ERs is tariffs and what they're saying. I noticed in my subscribe and save last month, I had 5 items with price increases. I've never had that many price
Oh, wow.
increases in 1 month. I'm starting to notice, and it was their products,
Oh, wow.
their I can't think of what the
Amazon
brand of their
Basics. Amazon Basics.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was all products, and they get them from China and put their name on them. So that's why. Plus, they had a really good Prime Day, but I don't know if you saw the story that Walmart had better sales during Prime Week than Amazon did, which I
Oh,
thought
wow.
was interesting. hmm
Well, I
Fortunately
know.
for fortunately for Amazon, those numbers won't hit this earnings statement, but they'll be included in the forward guidance, I'm sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys see the article that Bezos sold off 5.7 billion of his shares recently?
Oh, that's
Came out a couple days ago.
interesting.
Yeah. So I
Have
don't
you?
know. Maybe he's got some insider knowledge on that one. He's like, oh, get out before the earnings come out, guys. Hey, earnings are Thursday. Blink twice if they're going to be awful. And then so he sold a lot of his shares off. So I don't know if that's going to be like where the stock's going to be moving down, because that happened like end of last week. That happened, I think it was like Friday or Thursday or something like that. I don't know when he filed it, but it was announced on like Bloomberg. So I wonder
To
if
be
on Monday
fair,
it opens up low.
to
There
be
has been
fair, Fridge, he did just have a pretty damn expensive wedding, so
true. I
Yeah.
will. There has been a huge influx of insider trading lately, and
yeah.
and and it has everything to do with that. Retail is buoying the market up,
Mm,
and it's a perfect time for them to collect. But it's also a sign that smart money is watching retail pump this market up, and
yeah.
they are the ones that will be able to make the most money off of it.
Mm. It's the same thing where it's like, like I think we always talk about meme stocks, right? And I think we talk about it in Discord quite a bit, where it's like those meme stocks, like they pump up, and then people are just like, "Well, what happened? Why is it down 12%?" It's like, gee, it's almost like the business people who are running the company are like, "Wow, we just doubled our position. Holy crap! Let's take our money out and then pay off debt or grow the
Right.
company or something like that." Like think like if you get into it on the pump, you're gonna get absolutely annihilated by it. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a new acronym for meme stocks. You guys know what it is?
Do
No.
For the
it.
new meme stocks? Do you know what it is?
What do we
Uh,
got?
It's DORK. DORK. D, you know what the D meme stock is?
No.
Decentralized?
Well, we know O is open door, right? O is open door.
Mhm.
That one's already been there. R would be which one? Is there another one? You guys know?
RSRX?
No, no, that's the
Not a
after
shit
hours
stock.
community.
Sorry, a meme
The
stock.
after
My
hours
bad. I got
community one.
confused.
So it's another one similar to Open Door in terms of real estate and mortgages and stuff like that.
Rocket.
Rocket, yep. So Open Door, Rocket Companies. K, we should know, hopefully, had a pump over 100% pre-market. That was an after hours.
I don't know
It's
any of
got a huge
these.
real. Oh my God, Bruga, come on, man. Okay, so the 4 R's. So the D is for donut because that's Krispy Kreme. Fun fact.
Krispy
O is
Kreme.
open. O is open door. R
Uh,
is record companies, and K is Kohl's. So it's the dork
Oh,
Makes sense.
meme. It's the dork. It's the dork meme movement. I will be making a video about it because I think it's a hysterical name because we're not dorks if we're buying into meme stocks. I think we're the opposite, but each their own on that one. But, so yeah, but I think it's what you're saying is correct. Same thing with people are going to be taking the profits again. Amazon is up now at what 231, so it's a pretty high number. Jeff Bezos was like, dude, like I remember the last time I think he sold his shares was when it was around $200. I think he sold like right at like 200. So he probably just capitalized, another decent chunk of change there. So he's probably taking his profits. Maybe he knows the earnings going to be bad, but a lot of the companies are going to do that. We get those high valuations. I wouldn't be surprised if people start taking money off the table. Like, why wouldn't you? Secure those profits, secure the bag, and move on.
I think there's something to the wedding theme, to be honest. I really do.
Well, I wish Fridge Financials was invited to that one, but unfortunately, I wasn't qualified enough to be invited to that kind of event. Maybe one year, maybe when he has 3 more weddings, maybe the third one I'll get invited to in the future. Maybe I'll get invited to that one. I don't know.
I mean, this is already the second. This is already the second.
Yeah, he's got some time on his hands. I'm like, hey, just put me in for like the 5th wedding, dude. It's fine. Like, I'll be here. I got I'm white tie ready to go. Like, just sign me up. I'm ready to pull up to the wedding. I can go to Italy or wherever he wants to go. I don't care.
There you go.
All right, New Fish, you got 2 other stocks, right? And then Perunga, think about if you have any earnings you liked this week. Feel free as always. So we have Carly with Amazon. We've covered a lot of them. Fish, what do you got?
All right, so I'm gonna give you my bearish stock first, which is UPS, United Postal.
Yeah.
Right. Dude, I'm not United Parcel Service. Excuse me. I'm not bullish at all. I'm very bearish on them. Over the past 3 months, they're up a grand total of 5.6%. Not impressive. Over the past month, up a total of 2.7%. Not impressive. I think as we get in, yeah, sure, we just had some tariff reprieve for another 90 days. I think people are still concerned about it. I think people are still concerned about their, disposable income now, disposable income in the future. We know that Amazon sales are off. Who does a lot of delivery for Amazon? UPS.
That's, I mean, I used to get UPS packages daily. I get Amazon packages daily. I will admit my problem that I have. And it used to be primarily UPS and the mail. I don't remember the last time I got a UPS package. I mean, it's been months since I've had UPS at my door, which sucks because a UPS man is hot, I will say.
Carly's ordering sticks of gum one by one. Sorry for the 15,000 packages, but hey.
I'm ordering stuff just only if they use UPS from now on. But
but yeah, so I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Having Amazon, that was a blow to them.
Yep. Yeah. Well, but I mean, it's not only that, right? So it's like, yeah, we know that they lost the Amazon contract, but when you look at Amazon sales are down, right? So what that tells me is that other mail order companies or just brick and mortars that people want to order online from, those numbers are most likely down, which means that UPS numbers are going to be most likely down from forward guidance is what I would think.
Rough.
I think there was something about UPS's like decline in like deliveries or something like that. An article came out like a month or 2 ago, I think from Bloomberg. I would love it. This would be the prime time to have somebody who works in the post office, royalty trades. Would love to have him here so I could hear his thoughts. I'm sure he's got some good insight on this one.
Yes, he does.
So unfortunately he's not here, but I would be curious to hear what his thoughts are about this because he's literally the front line of seeing what comes in and out of the mailrooms every single day, right? So he will be able to be the guy that sees how many UPS. We have FedEx also. I don't know how FedEx has done recently. Their earnings aren't until September though, so
FedEx handles a lot of. FedEx handles a lot of the delivery for, or not a lot, but FedEx handles some of the delivery for Amazon.
Right. Yeah, so it would be, and you might also have the, those third-party sellers on Amazon who are just boxing it themselves and then just sending it whoever picks up for the cheapest rate. Maybe there's a lot more competition for it. I'm not really sure. I mean, there's another one that's less common. It's like, what is it? It's like a yellow truck. What the heck is the name of it?
DHL.
That's DHL.
Yeah, DHL. Like they're just driving trucks. I'm like, you guys are still in business? Like, okay, sure, man. Go. Like, good for you, I guess. So like, you're gonna keep seeing that competitiveness between like shipping, who can ship it for cheaper, and like you said, with earnings also, like or with tariffs, a mention of that definitely could have a huge impact on it. So I think what it was, Fish. I believe, and I can look it up later on. I believe there was an article about them cutting the workforce or offering buyouts. I believe to UPS. Let me look it up real quick for you.
Things those are good. The market likes when they cut headcount and when they do buybacks. Maybe this will be a shocker.
So, okay, what Fish? I got the article. When are earnings for UPS?
They are. Hold on. Let's see here.
Because you're gonna love to hear this. You're gonna love this article. I'm gonna read you just a quick summary of it.
UPS Tuesday the 29th.
All right. So this
like,
says
Looks like it might be before. I don't exactly know. It is listed on the first graph.
So this says UPS is offering voluntary buyout packages to its full-time U.S. drivers as part of a larger effort to streamline operations and cut costs, which includes reducing 20,000 jobs. The buyout package offers $1,800 per year of service with a minimum payout of $10,000. The deadline for them to apply is July 31st, this week, after earnings. Fun fact.
I think the market will like that.
I don't know, because let's go back to let's talk about Intel then, Carly, right? Because Intel was cutting back 15% of their force, and what they do is lost 9% the next day, and I made a crap ton of money on it. So I think it depends on. I think it's circumstantial as to how they're doing the cuts. I think honestly.
You look at Microsoft. They laid off 9,000 people and went up.
Yeah, no, the market likes that. Intel is a different story. It's the CEO. They're not happy with the CEO and the route that the CEO is going. That was pure displeasure with.
Yeah, they were talking about. I know, like, they wanted to use like A14 chips or something, or A18. They had a huge contract, and they were going to use it for like Microsoft and I think Amazon and stuff like that. They're going to use those chips and softwares. And he was like, "Yeah, let's talk more about the A14 though. You know, they had a huge thing with A18s that was going to be used in Microsoft and Amazon for like their chips." And he's like, "Yeah, let's pivot to the A14s. Talk about them." And I was like, your first quarter of earnings, bro, just probably not the right thing to say on that aspect of things. So that's fair. But maybe, so I don't know, Fish. Maybe they might look at that as bullish for potential buyouts. I don't know, man. That could be.
You're right. No, you're right. I mean, they could also look at it as, okay, well, that's money that's coming out.
Yeah.
And we don't have a bullish stance of money pouring in right now. Right. I don't know.
Also, I mean, it's voluntary buyouts. They're not forcing them to do it. So what if nobody wants to do it? What if like nobody takes it and they're like, no, I need a job. Like I'm not going to do this. So maybe if it's voluntary, it's a little bit different than saying, hey, we're laying off 9,000 people like Microsoft. It's like, no, hey, if you want to stop working for us, here's some money, feel free, So maybe the voluntary part also might have a little bit of an impact as well because they're not forcing people to quit and laying them off. I don't know. It's very interesting. It'll be interesting earnings there. What's the other one, Fish? What else do you got?
All right. So the other one is, and this is just because I don't know, just because like a little bit of local insight. Dominion Energy. The ticker is D. Ticker is D, as in Dominion.
Okay.
So I'm bullish. I'm bullish on this. I mean, if you look over the past 3 months, it's only gone up 10.95%, right? Trading at 58.75 currently. Over a month, it's up 6.78%, right? The reason I'm bullish on this is because we're really stepping into this AI stage. And if you look at Reston, Virginia specifically, Reston, Virginia is known as Tech Corridor. There's a ton of data centers that are out there. It's basically just a city of data farms. And Virginia has a lot of undeveloped land, which they're extremely business friendly as well, which I think could lead to more data farms for Dominion Energy.
Okay. They can't find the implied volatility. Oh wait, I gotta go.
23.1, and it's August 15th. That's why.
Yeah, that's why. Well, first of all, I don't know if you guys saw. I typed in the letter. I typed in.
Was wrong. I'm sorry.
I typed in D and like nothing popped up, and I was like, okay, now I gotta be somewhat literate and try to spell Dominion now, and I was kind of like just losing how to spell it for a second because I'm a math person. But then I found it. So yeah, the 15th. So I mean, so it's a little bit after. I mean, their options, chain only goes till the 15th. So, but still, I mean, not a bad play. I like your bullish thesis though. I think it's great. It's those kind of like small finds that you get in the rough that can make a huge difference. So I think that's one of those things where you find those stocks that no one's looking at. You get in early, you make some good money on it, and then hopefully do some profits there. So that's pretty cool. Are you gonna do any plays on it, Fish, or just kind of watching it?
You know what, man? I mean, I am kind of bullish. I don't know what the prices are going to be, so I'll take a look Monday. I hate buying calls or puts over the weekend because I just don't know how the price is going to move. And
Right.
theta, hey, that's not my friend. I'm buy side, not sell side.
Right.
So I start looking on Monday. Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah, and feel free to put on the some sort of safari animal if you want. Perun can help you out with that one if you want. If you want something like that,
I'll
or
call
some
it the
kind of
local elephant.
some kind of lizard, you want to put on it, some kind of whatever you want to put on it. Feel free. I know Perunga's got you covered with all the different animals over there.
Love it. Love it.
Perunga, any earnings that are piquing your interest that even if we talked about them already, anything that you're watching for this week that you want to put some insight onto?
All I have is for earnings specifically was Apple that I might hold through earnings. Then I have a Meta risk-free
This dude in his stupid animals, man. He's got a butterfly. Like, dude, there's so many animals.
That's an insect. That's an insect.
Oh, sorry. Hey, hey, I'm a math teacher, not a science person. All right, I don't know the ins and outs of these kind of things. All right, so but okay, so he's got a risk-free butterfly. Is that what you said, Veronica? Okay, risk-free butterfly, and I've never heard of that. So we got a risk-free one for him. So we'd love to watch that one. I know there's another one that we haven't talked about. I believe SoFi is this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I bet Perinka's probably got an iron condor on that one.
No, just hold 100 shares of them.
It's a condor. I get it, man. It's another animal. I get it. It's a bird. We can do a condor.
Yeah, their earnings the 29th. Fridge.
Okay. Earnings the 29th. I love that. All right.
Sorry,
so we're looking at.
I had to throw that one in there. It's like one of the only ones that I know.
You're good, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Pringa, I only make these jokes because I wish I could trade like you for those kind of things instead of doing my stupid calendars that have no animal reference whatsoever.
Yeah, for real. I'm over here playing small caps, and this guy's doing real stuff,
Yeah, right. So we got an implied volatility right now, 100%. Looking at a 14% moving SoFi. So again, fintech financial, kind of similar to Robinhood. When Robinhood ran up, I know SoFi ran up with it as well. So did Webull. What are we thinking about SoFi? Anybody have any preference? Anybody like SoFi or have any sort of viewpoint on it?
Gio's the one to ask about SoFi. That guy loves SoFi.
Gio, if you're watching this back, dude, Gio, I need you to drop in the comment section what your things is on. So he puts his trade on everything. I'm like, dude, he's just like, yeah, Thursday morning SoFi. I'm like, okay, sure, yeah. Hey, I'm with it, man. Like, dude,
by the way, just real quick, Gio, he's a good trader
for sure.
He is absolutely a good trader, man.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, personal note, I feel connected to Gio because when I live streamed to my 3 viewers, he was the only one talking to me the entire time. So I respect him for it.
Oh, that's dope, man.
I love Gio, man. Shout out to him as always. He's awesome. I see his portfolio count, dude, and it's like almost $1 million. I'm like, oh man, dude, like, good for him, dude. Like his dividend payouts, he just posted about having like $3,000, I think, for this week. I was like, whew, 3,000 in a dividend payout for a week? Like that's wild.
Very nice.
He's a good trader, man.
Oh yeah.
He's a good trader. I'm actually meeting up like in September, I think it is. Meeting up with him and Swing Short. We're gonna meet up downtown DC and smoke some cigars. Be nice
That's
to
what's up, man.
Meet face to face.
DMV area.
What's that?
I thought Gio was in the DMV area. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty neat to make connections with people, and then it's like, hey, let's transition over to real life. This is cool.
Right? Why not? So SoFi's got a huge. I think there's a lot of hype around SoFi. I know SoFi recently went earnings per share positive, I believe, recently, like as of like earlier this year, maybe end of last year, I believe. So there's a lot of hype around it now for it as a result. But I mean, I think they do a really good job of things. Again, they're all digital platforms. I think those digital banks are what's really making the money because your overheads are so small, right? Compared to like a Chase Bank or compared to Wells Fargo, like you don't have physical branches. You don't have to pay the overhead for, leasing, for electricity, for employees as much. Like, you got to pay the employees, but you have less overhead. So I think people like SoFi for that reason. I don't know about you guys, but I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
I've always liked their CEO. Every interview that I see with their CEO just makes me more and more bullish on the company. I honestly don't have a stance either way on the company, except for when I watch an interview with the CEO. It's so strange that as soon as I see him, I'm like, I need to buy this stock. This is
Right.
awesome. And it's not that he's like a salesman. He's just like out there, just like, here's the straight facts, you know? And like,
Yeah.
I don't know why, like it just, I don't know why it doesn't do better than it does. It seems like it's a great company.
I mean, I think it's,
rated.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's, I mean, it's trading at a pretty good price. I remember when I was selling cash care puts on it when it was like $8 a share.
Yeah, I
Well,
got
Well,
some
that's
good
yeah.
premiums
I
on it.
haven't looked at it in a long time. In my mind, it's still $8-10. You know. I
Oh,
don't
it's
know.
like
No,
20. It's in the 20s.
It went up to the
Shit, okay.
20s. It went up to the 20s like 6 months ago or something, then dropped back down, and it's back up here now.
Mm. Yep.
So I got assigned shares at $8 too. So I feel it.
Nice.
nice.
I mean, it's a good company, I think, to trade to sell options with because the volatility is there. It's high. It's a fundamentally sound company. I think a lot of people are behind it now. There's a lot of people that post about it all over the place, but they're not posting about it as like a momentum meme stock play. Like it's a good financially stable company. They're positive on their earnings now, which is great to see. You know, they're able to make money. So if they have some good earnings, some good, guidance moving forward, I can still see it being bullish as a stock overall. I mean, an expected move of 14% is a little crazy. But if we do get a pullback, I would not mind selling some cash secured puts on it. And if it's like 18 something dollars, like the prediction is here, I wouldn't mind selling it to get a little bit cheaper. I don't know, Geo will be salivating over that if it comes down to like 18, $17 a share. So definitely a good company, I feel like overall.
By the way, I just started looking into cash secured puts and like why I haven't been doing them, and the answer is because I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. That's why I haven't been doing them. Oh my
it's it's
god.
It's one of those things that like Warren Buffett doesn't trade options, but he likes cash secured puts. So it's a
I can
good.
see
yeah,
why. Well, you
right.
get free money if you don't get assigned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to get shares.
Yeah, his whole thing is he picks a value that he agrees with, and if he gets assigned, he gets assigned. If not, he just keeps going.
Exactly.
The best way of wording cash secure puts to people I've talked about is this. Hey, what stock do you like? I like
Yep.
this one. How would you feel if I could pay you money and you get a discount for it?
Exactly.
And people are like,
That's
what are you talking about? And it's like, that's what it is. And they're like, oh my God, no way. I'm like, that's literally what a cash secure put is. You get the stock at a cheaper price potentially, and you get paid for it while you wait. Like, what's not to
Exactly.
love about it?
Yep.
yeah, it's crazy. I've been talking about it with some people, and I was like, I really should look into this. And so I started looking into it, and I was like, oh my god, this is like, it's silly for me not to be doing this.
Right.
You know,
Well, if you need anyone else to talk to, you got me in Fridge too. So
Yes,
the
sir.
brother expect some DMs. Let me tell you.
Dude, I mean, we're always here. I mean, I'm still learning a lot every single day when I'm looking at more. I'm doing more research every single day about different stocks and different options and what to do and stuff like that. So I'm still learning every single day. But yeah, so kind of like a nice pivoting point, I guess, for this is now like we're talking about SoFi and how they're the ones who loan a lot of money out and stuff like that, and they have those interest rates. We got FOMC coming up this week. I know the market is looking like a 97.5% chance of not a rate cut. You guys have any thoughts about FOMC coming up, like Jerome Powell? Like anything that you think he might talk about, or you think it's gonna be like a vague, we'll wait and see what happens stance
The thing that
overall?
keeps running through my mind is that whole shenanigan at the Fed building with Trump and Powell, and how at the end Trump kept saying over and over again, he's going to do the right thing. He's going to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know what Trump's idea of the right thing is, and that's to cut. And
right.
we know that Powell isn't going to cut. And I feel with 100% certainty that Powell is not going to resign either. But there had to have been some exchange of a conversation for Trump to say he's going to do the right thing. And so, what is that? That's
Mm-hmm.
what's running through my head.
I
Yeah,
feel like that's just a
I
very
mean,
political thing for him to say.
right.
I mean, to be fair, it could. It and I'm not trying to get political here, but we do know that Trump does his best to influence the market, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so this could be another situation of him putting out on social media, it's a great time to buy, in which that
Mm,
was the case, right? This could
right.
be that. Or it could be just a thing of, hey, I'm trying to pump the market. I'm trying to keep the market happy.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely trying to set Powell up as the fall guy for when inflation starts to build up from the tariffs. He's going to go to Powell as the fall guy that it's
Mm,
the interest rate's fault, not tariffs. I mean,
right.
everybody has to see that writing on the wall. But I think it's not going to be any surprise. He's not going to cut rates. He can't. I mean,
No.
the parameters are not there. Everything on the surface looks good. He can't. There's no roadmap for him to raise rates right now. But I
Mhm.
mean, I think that the market's starting to discount perhaps September there being a cut. If things keep chugging along like they are, which I can't believe they can or will. So, but what I think is going to be the kicker is there's going to be dissent from Waller and somebody else, and I can't think of who it is. I think that there's going to be two dissents that say yes, they want to cut, and I think that might rattle the markets a bit.
I think the huge thing that we're facing right now is that, I mean, again, it's like you're saying, the jobs data is coming in pretty okay. We haven't seen a collapse in the job market. Jerome Powell has been saying for as many months as I can remember now, saying we got to watch the jobs data. The labor market is strong. We got to keep watching the labor market. And when the labor market collapses is when the Fed's going to react. Labor
Yeah,
market hasn't collapsed yet. And
yeah,
surprisingly, I thought it would have collapsed a long time ago. And it just has been staying where it's at. The thing is that kind of that like fuels the no rate cut, you know, foundation is that CPI is starting to tick up again as of the last one that came out. It's up like 0.1% compared to the previous month. So, and even though it's only 0.1%, people say, well, that's not a big difference, but that could just be the beginning. What if next month's comes out and it's another 0.1% higher, and the next one comes up with another 1.1% higher? And it's one of those things where if you cut rates now, because the data is backing up everything Powell has been saying for the longest time, everything that he's been saying that he wants to watch and be on the lookout for, everything has been lined up. And like the soft landing approach that he's going for, I feel like he's like 70% of the way there. I feel like he's
yeah.
almost pulled this thing in for a landing. And I'm making up 70%, by the way. I always have been told when I was growing up, if you throw some random number at something, you sound so much more intelligent. I don't know why, but you do. So, but the idea behind it is that like he's soft landed this. Like this plane is coming in for a landing, and so far it's a pretty soft, no turbulence that we're having right now at this moment in time. We have a couple more months of data coming out that's going to really show it or not. But I think, I mean, a rate in September is probability, as you can see, is 61.8%. A little bit of where the rate cut probably will come into play. But if CPI and PPI kind of stay where they're at, that's probably going to come back down because there's no need to cut rates. The cutting of rates is to fuel the economy and to try to push it back and to try to give it that kind of direction of pumping the economy back up. But it's still running at a pretty good speed right now. Like you don't need to pump the economy. It's already running at a pretty good speed right now. And the
Yep.
last thing that we want to have happen is he cuts rates, then inflation goes super high, then he has to
That,
hike rates back up again. Then you just lost all credibility, and the Fed is going to be pointless jobs at that point. You just lost all the credibility if that happens, in my opinion.
bond markets into complete turmoil. That's a problem because of these tariffs. There's just no denying that tariffs are going to have an inflationary impact.
Mm,
There's no denying it. You cannot deny that because
right.
somebody's got to pay the tariff bill. And it's
Yeah.
not going to be the foreign countries, and it's not going to be the companies that are going to absorb all of them. it's eventually going to come out of our pockets. And so if inflation starts going up and you've cut rates and then he has to reverse, that's going to be the problem.
Right. I mean, you think about it as in terms of like, like inflation is like a fire pit, right? Like you have a fire there. And if inflation is ticking up and the fire is getting bigger, and then the rate cut is gasoline, the gasoline is going to just push the flame higher and just accelerate those inflationary pressures. It's going to accelerate inflation to sky high levels. When you would want to cut rates is when the fire is on its last ember. It's on its last ember, it's its last hope. And you're like, I need to stimulate the economy somehow. Here's some rate cuts. It's going to put fuel on the fire. It's going to bring the fire back to life and pump the economy back up to what we want it to be at. Right now, the fire is pretty well lit right now, in my opinion, and that's why there's no need to do it. But we saw what happened like last week. There was the rumor that Trump was Powell was getting fired. The market had a flash crash, and then Trump was like, "Oh, just kidding," and then it pumped back up again. Like that's him testing the waters to see how much of an impact trying to get rid of Jerome Powell is going to have on the market. And I think he realized it last week that it's going to be a bad idea. And just watching that flash crash was his one data point that he needed to say, this will be a bad idea. And now he's stepping back and saying, I'm not going to get rid of him. I'm not going to get rid of him. It's not going to happen. And I think that may be, hopefully, and I would like to hope, but who knows, maybe that's the point where Trump can finally back off because, again, he wants the market to do well. And when he sees the market react negatively to that news, he's like, whoa, okay, I was kidding, just kidding, Like, it's not a big deal. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, guys. Don't worry about it. Like, I think that's maybe his deciding factor being like, I have to stop this. Hopefully. I don't know. But
so I've got a thought here, and this is a legit question, right? Because I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Do we really think that the Fed would cut even a quarter point with the market being at all-time high? I mean,
I'm telling you, this has been running through my head because of Trump saying he's going to do the right thing. I keep thinking, what if he really does shock us and does a quarter point? Because, like I said, I know there's going to be two members pushing hard for it. They may be able to remember that this vote is not just Powell. It's 12 members that vote on this. And they may be able to sway the others to a cut. And I have this in the back of my mind that maybe we get surprised and we get a quarter cut.
So actually,
go ahead.
Thank you. This is actually interesting. I just remember this. If we think back a few months, maybe 4 months, I think. We were so interested in rate cuts, right? We desperately wanted them, and then everyone was saying, oh, we gotta wait, and then it became a thing of, all right, we might get our first cut in August. Well, now we're coming up on August,
right?
So maybe they stick to their plan of this is the first cut.
So what we're looking at right now, if you go on to the Robinhood prediction market, because Fish, I know you love Robinhood, so I'm tying it back to
I'm
Robinhood
on it right now, dude.
Buddy.
I'm on it right now.
So a federal funds cut of 25 basis points is worth 6 cents. So if it's successful, that 6 cents becomes $1, which is an astronomically insane return. So Carly, if you wanna throw like $10 at it or whatever, and
I'm telling you,
it could happen.
It's the only reason I would get Hood, because I would fucking drop a G on that right now in a second. Can you imagine?
The payout to be insane for that. That'd be absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
You went from 6 cents to $1.
Yeah, cut 25 basis points, 6 cents. You know what? I'm gonna
come on, take it. Come on, Fish, take it for me, please.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do Royalty's famous. This is not financial advice. Please make sure you do your own research before investing. Do not listen to New Fish Big Pond because he gambles a lot.
Whoa. No. I would like to rephrase that. I do not gamble a lot. Okay? What I do is I am a high risk, high reward trader. That is what I am.
New Fish Big Pond has a much higher risk tolerance than a lot of people do. So keep that in mind as you are doing any investments as you would like.
And I would also like to say, please don't follow anything that I fucking do. I got no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make some fucking money in the market. All right, guys, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it for $5.
Oh, come on, Fish. $5. Come on.
I mean,
Wait, no.
yeah, I mean,
Wait,
yeah,
how many do I?
I mean, you're looking at what? I mean, 6 cents for each one. So you're looking at,
So
I don't
83.
know the math is on the one.
83. I did it with a calculator. 83.
83 says 664. Hold on. So 75. 75 is $6. You know, it's a little higher than I wanted to do, but it's because of the commission fees.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. There's Robinhood making their fees. Fish is trying to pump up Fish is trying to pump their revenue numbers for Q3 already. I see what he's doing.
Right. Where's my $6, guys? All right, so hey, look, guys, this is absolute gambling right here. Just to be fair, but yeah, if this $6 hits, then it'll pay out $75.
Okay, well, let me tell you though, if they do surprise the market with a quarter cut, that is when smart money is going to flood the market. They're going to flood. It's going to pump. I think
you really. I actually disagree with that. I don't know why, but I mean, I do know why. I have a theory. I'm not just doing it to keep devil's advocate. I do disagree with that because the way I'm looking at that, and then Carly, you are more than happy to take the stage and share your perspective of things, of course. The way I look at it is if you get a surprise rate cut, to me, that signals the Fed knows something in the data that we do not see yet. And they are pivoting and they are panicking. That's what that gives me. Because if everything was all peachy keen and happy dory and whatever, we wouldn't have a rate cut. We just keep moving on with our lives because we're all expecting it. But if we get a surprise rate cut, to me, that comes off as fear. The Fed is pivoting. There's pressure. And if you're getting political pressure, for example, we already saw what happened in the 70s about how awful that was. Are we going to get that again in the future? So to me, I look at it as a bearish statement of cutting rate. I don't know. I would love to hear your perspective, though, because it's always good to hear both sides. So, Carly, what is your perspective on that?
Well, in this day and age, there really isn't much that they would be seeing that we're not. Everything's so public now and so accessible that I mean, there's a lot more transparency. But you're right in that it could be viewed as political pressure. But I don't know. I think that the market recognizes Powell's the importance that he holds on the independence of the Fed,
Right. Yeah.
But I think that Powell is so good at his press briefings that he would explain it where it would make the market really happy. We may see when it's first announced just through media, like it may dump, and then he would come out in his typical everything is great, everything is fine, the world is all good, and the market will buy it and it'll shoot up.
But so here's my question. If from how I would see it, if the Fed comes out and cuts rates and then he comes out and says everything's fine, everything's great, then why did you cut rates? Why did you do that then? Because that's what I would be thinking. I would be thinking, what is it that you know that I don't know as to what made you cause yourself to cut rates? Because everything wouldn't be fine, I feel like. Because again, the market's okay. The labor market's doing pretty okay with things. Inflation is above the 2% goal, obviously, they want to have here. But your unemployment's like 4.3%, so not crazy high, like it's 7 or 8% or whatever it could possibly be. So like it's okay data that we have right now. I could see the thing is there's always two sides, right? I mean, I see it as a bearish thing, you see it as a bullish thing. Some people might say this is them trying to get ahead of the collapsing labor market also. Maybe that's what they're trying to do because that happened, I think, in the 2001 dot-com bubble where they cut rates before the recession hit to try to reduce the blow. So maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know, Carly. I don't know.
Did you know these reports like I do? Have you been looking under the hood? June's report or was it June? Yeah, we're in July right now. So June's report, it wasn't good. All the jobs were in healthcare and education.
I did see
Education,
that.
that's when they hire all the new teachers and, restaff the schools. And
Yeah.
medical, always hiring. They are always
Yeah.
hiring every single month. But like construction had a huge hit, and
Mhm.
construction is not going to be able to easily refill that because that is from deportation. And
Right.
all the services took a really, really big hit. If you look under the hood, the jobs aren't that great. So if you took out
Right.
education and health, it was like, I don't know, 20,000 available
Yeah.
jobs, I think it was.
Mhm.
So it's not that great on the surface. And that's just, I don't know.
I think well, that's always the problem that I think we're going to face, right? Is that like, like the numbers, the headline numbers come out and people just look at the headlines. They don't go under the hood. I know
Yeah,
that's again going back to Fish's hood bullish statement here, under the hood, so to speak, right? But the idea is that, like, yeah, you got to look at the numbers and behind the scenes for it, and there's times where I even don't do a good enough job of that one. I did see that there was a lot of the employment was education and healthcare. I did remember seeing that from June, which
yeah.
obviously could be a huge problem. And again, also like you said, the deportations and stuff like that could also have those job impacts as well. So if you don't look more in depth, and it's definitely 100% for sure. But it's kind of the same thing with like inflation data as well, where you look at where like what brings inflation higher versus lower, and looking at what's actually happening in that case. Like inflation comes in higher, but it's auto hard carries the inflation data report sometimes. People like to not look at that because of it, because of those reasons. So it's always about having to look more into the data, like you're saying. I think it's 100% correct. It maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're starting to forecast that the labor market is slowing down. Besides healthcare and maybe education or whatever, maybe it is starting to slow down overall. And maybe the cut is to get ahead of the curve, so that way they can maybe that one basis cut of 25 might actually be the way to continue the soft landing approach. And then maybe markets think it's bullish. I don't know. It's really hard to tell as to how the market reacts to this kind of news points at this point, I think, in this case.
Especially in this environment right now. Like I said, it's just institutions have been so unpredictable, and I just you don't really
Yeah.
know what they're thinking or how they're viewing all of this, and you're
Mm-hmm.
not. I it's hard to track their movement in the market because it's just kind of on autopilot, So
Yeah.
you can't see what they're doing right now, so it's hard to see what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But
So, Fish, what do you think? Fish, if we get a 25-point cut on Wednesday, what do you think? Bullish or bearish for the market? What would be your perspective of that? I don't like the maniacal evil laugh already, but
Dude, so I was, we were all sort of doing a little talking behind the scenes, and I told Carly that my stance on the short-term market has changed, and she was like, "Oh
right.
man, I can't wait to hear this." So, especially if we get a quarter point, man, I mean, you guys better watch out. I mean, I know that we're stepping into August. I know that we're supposed to, ride a little bit more through earnings and then start going down towards September.
Yeah.
But I think if we get a quarter point, I think we can see SPY go up to like 655.
So you think a short-term rally and then maybe a longer-term correction pullback
And
potentially?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. I think a quarter point would push a lot of money in, and then I think
Mm-hmm.
big money would use retail as exit liquidity to get out, and
yeah,
prices would come
Gotcha.
down, and we would have a correction.
I
I
mean, I
still
also think
believe in the correction. I just don't believe in
yeah.
my own timeline.
I think what it is also though is that like you're saying is that like we're mid earnings right now, and earnings reports, if they keep coming out good, like there's gonna be no reason for this market to pull back. As long as if Meta comes out with good earnings, if Microsoft comes out with good earnings,
Right.
Amazon, Apple, if everybody keeps pumping out good earnings, no offense to Tesla who didn't put out good earnings, if everybody puts out really good earnings in these companies, like there's no reason to not be bullish of the market because the companies are doing great. Their margins are being hit, their profits are being hit, they're beating on earnings per shares and on revenues. Like why why would you not feel bullish of the market? So yeah, but I think once earnings are down or once earnings are over, maybe get a correction. I don't know. Carly, go ahead.
Every single company that you mentioned was a tech company, though, and only so many people are benefiting from tech companies. You haven't mentioned like retail companies, the
Yeah.
Walmart and the consumer pocket hitting companies are, I think, what are really going to matter because that's going to give us another tariff picture.
And that is true, but if you think about like where a lot of the weight is in the markets, it's those mag sevens.
I
A
know, but
lot of the weight and a lot of the money is in the mag sevens, and if they keep hitting their numbers, then people are going to keep dumping money into them. I feel like overall.
yeah, but at some point, the economy has to play a part in the stock market.
Yes,
It's
100%.
And so the way that you most get a read on the economy is the staples and the consumer discretionaries and those types of stocks,
Right. Yeah. So, Carlos, since we're talking about like the retail and stuff like that, you bring up a really good point about, again, not focusing on the Mag Sevens only, but looking, at the retail and the service industry companies, right? Like Walmart, Target, what they're doing, stuff like that. I believe, was it last week that retail data came out, or was it the week before? And it came out as a pretty good beat. I don't know if you remember that or not. I would love to know your thoughts on that as well. Let me see if I can find it for you guys really quick on my phone here, because I don't feel like going on my desktop. I'm just looking at the rate cuts and just doing nothing with it right now. Apparently, I want to say it was last week that we had retail data, and it came in pretty good.
Was it
Let me
like a
see.
monthly report?
Was it what?
A monthly report? Was it a backwards looking report?
Maybe. I'm just trying to find out. It was here somewhere. Where is it? I thought it was a Thursday. Jobless claims was Thursday. That's initial. That's like whatever. I can't find it now. What did retail come? Retail, it just came in. I could have swore that it came in as a pretty good beat, actually. If any of you guys feel free to chime in, feel free to, because I'm looking like an idiot right now trying to find this. Oh, up 0.6% at July. Oh, it was about 2 weeks ago. Sorry, Carly. About 2 weeks ago, it came out, and it was July 17th. It came in at 0.6, and it was previously revised to negative 0.9. So how would you view that? You're talking about retail, obviously showing the bigger picture of tariffs. If retail sales is up 0.6%, though, compared to the revised negative 0.9%, what does that tell you? Like, what are your thoughts on that? I'd be curious to know.
It was Prime Week who had the best week they ever had, and then Walmart comes out and said they did even better than Amazon did in Prime Week. That's what that tells me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Same week. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So then that
So,
would be good for Q3 earnings, then, correct? Because that's when those numbers will go into play, I believe.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe the push now would be, and Carly, maybe you could agree with this one. Maybe the push now for retail earnings would be more of into Q3 and see how Q3 earnings come out, maybe, or maybe even Q4, because Q3 might be potentially elevated because of Prime Week, right? So maybe we look at Q4 earnings as a potential to see that kind of tariff impact. I don't know if you would agree with that or not.
It's going to be about it's going to be about the conference calls and what they
Right.
say. It's
Mhm.
going to be, now that hopefully we're starting to get an idea of what these tariff rates are going to be. Even China, because I'm not convinced that we're ever really going to work out a deal with China. We're just going to make agreements on the really critical things that we trade,
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be what we want to hear. We want to hear if they're seeing tariff impacts, what the tariff
Mhm.
impacts are, and what are they doing about it? Are they going to be able to absorb them? Are some of them going to have to be passed on? That's what we want to hear.
Right. And I definitely think that like one of the really important things in terms of that would be, when you're thinking about, companies absorbing tariffs and stuff like that, I think nowadays with earnings reports, it's really much more of a shift onto guidance now more than ever. Because before it would be like, oh, beat across the board. Okay, cool. Up 5%, up 7%, whatever. I think now, especially because of the uncertainty with tariffs, with inflation and everything else, now the real focus is those conference calls and that
Yep.
future guidance, where even if you could miss across the board, But that conference call could be like, look, we had a rough quarter. Here's why. But here's where we're projecting for the next quarter. It was a rough quarter for us. We're on a rebound. We're on a better trajectory, whatever the case is. And that's what's driving these companies' evaluations, as we talked about before with Robinhood and stuff like that, is that evaluation. So I agree that I think definitely listening into Walmart's conference calls, Target, all those different retail ones, and hearing what they're talking about in terms of tariffs could definitely have an impact overall on the market. I would 100% agree with that. Parunga, I know you're still here. Do you have any thoughts? Because you haven't talked in a little while, and I feel bad.
No,
Any
you're
thoughts,
good, man.
Parunga?
My only thing is we're at all-time highs and it cannot continue forever.
Thank you.
So that's all I got.
Should have had him just say that instead of me and Carly going back and forth for like 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Fish.
That I'm just saying, I completely agree with Parunga, 100%, dude. Like these all-time highs, they scare me because, in my opinion, we have no business being here, right? We have absolutely no business being at all-time highs. We should already be headed for correction land. Instead, we're going, where's SPY going today? Is it going to, 635 or is it going to 675? Who knows what tweet is coming out, you know?
I mean, we are back in greed for the fear greediness. We're in greed right now, so we're not.
Which makes me fearful.
And just on the edge of extreme greed there, so.
Yeah, it is. Yep, just on the edge there. So that's very interesting to take a look at for sure.
I believe it's why the meme stocks have kicked back up, because I think even retail has become exhausted with the regular trade. And so they're looking for something that has more juice out of it, even though it's random shit that has zero fundamentals to it. And I think that smart money definitely is paying attention to that, because if you look at previous trends of meme stocks, a lot of times exceeded bad times.
Yeah, so, I think it was I think the GameStop AMC one. I think if I remember correctly from 2021, I think SPY was down while those meme stocks were like through the roof. Like SPY had a negative like couple weeks or a month or something like that because the money was flowing out of actual investments and going into stupidity and throwing it at a wall and hoping that it sticks for you. So maybe the meme stock rotation could be the peak of the market potentially.
I think it's a retail signal that retail is, and you've seen the conversation shift on AH also. It's starting to shift a little bearish. And so I wonder if that's going to have, if it weren't such a busy week next week, I think that if retail turned bearish, we wouldn't have anybody really buoying the markets. We would see things down. But there's just too much going on next week to even try to.
Yeah, what do we have going on next week, Carly? I know there's jobs data. I know we have the FOMC thing. Is there other things that are of note? I just pulled the calendar up. I don't know if there's anything good. Nothing tomorrow.
Over the weekend, EU trade deal. We also had, which is, I think we're going to have 4 years of 90-day extensions on the China deal. It's exactly what we're going to.
I love that.
They'll never work out a deal, but we have to figure things out with the minerals. Like that has to be figured out. That has to be addressed. And they don't want to lose us as trading partners. So I think that they'll make agreements on the critical stuff, but we'll never really have a real trade deal. But the Japan truth seems to be starting to come out. It's not an inked deal. Nobody signed actual agreement. The Japanese government is in a bit of an upheaval right now, and they're not even certain if the PM's going to hold his position. They're on the back end of a recession, and the thought that they're going to be our bank for funding investment projects here is quite questionable. So I think the market might digest that a bit, and then maybe rethink the EU trade deal and question it a little bit.
Right. Well, maybe the market doesn't really react much because we've been in this territory now for like the last 4 months now. They're just like, okay, we're tired of hearing it. Oh, there's a
No.
trade deal. Oh my God. Oh wait, no, there's not a trade deal. Oh, we cut it back 30 days or whatever. Oh my God. Like, I think the market is like, whatever, dude. Like, whatever you're saying, like, I think it's just exhaustion of just being like, this is stupid. Nothing is actually being shown as proof as to anything really going on here. Can we
No, but
please just give the physical proof and then call it a day?
you know what's really interesting is tariff rates have been set. And I think everybody's missing that because it's getting fluffed by these underlying deals that they've made. So, like the Japanese tariff rate is set at 15%, done deal. The EU
Right.
tariff rate is set at 15%, done deal. That stuff's
Yeah.
done. That is done, and it's going to kick in, I think, August 1st. So, yeah, they're trying to fluff it all along, but we are starting to get a clearer picture on these tariffs.
Mm-hmm. So we have on Tuesday, I'm looking at the Bloomberg economic report here. So think about other things. We do have the FOMC meeting coming up. We have CB consumer confidence from July. It's supposed to go up higher from 93 to 95.9. New Fish is part of the survey, and he brought it down a little bit because he's obviously very fearful. So his confidence is not that high right now. We've got JOLTS job openings. So again, more jobs data, which is really important to take a look at. Atlanta Fed GDP now, not always the most accurate, but still a really good thing to take a look at as to where we expect the economy to be growing for quarter two. If you guys don't remember from last quarter, it was a negative GDP because of all the imports we brought in, and it was an excessive amount of imports. Now we're looking at a lot less imports because inventory is so high, so the GDP number should be higher as a result, hopefully. And if that comes in lower, then that's a problem. We've got non-farm payroll for July. Last month, as we remember, was a negative 33,000. They're predicting 82,000. So a huge swing in ADP non-farm employment change for July, I would love to see how the market reacts to that one. Is it actually GDP? The actual GDP comes out on Wednesday?
Does it?
Huh. GDP quarter over quarter, Q2. It says 2.4%. I don't know if you can see my screen, Carly, if you see it, but it says the GDP, I think.
Sorry,
Wow.
I can't. It's too
Oh, so it's on your phones, right? I believe it's actually the actual GDP number.
Yeah, GDP advance, GDP con spending advance, deflator advance. Yeah, it is. Sales advance. Yep.
Oh, dude, this market is going to be in for a wild one.
Wild week. I am so excited.
So GDP we got there, which is really important. Inventories is whatever. FOMC. Wow. So it's GDP the same time or the same day as Jerome Powell and FOMC.
Yeah. And then we end that day with all the big earnings. I mean, it's going to be a really crazy week.
So maybe a out there theory. I know Fish loves these kind of like out there kind of theories and ideas here potentially. What if GDP comes out 8:30 in the morning? Do you think that's gonna sway Jerome Powell's the thing they write right here in 2:30 or 2 o'clock?
No, because they've already had their meeting. They meeting on Tuesday. They set the vote on Tuesday, and then Wednesday is just when it gets announced. So no, they go out. They go into a blackout period where they stop.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So no,
I was like that'd be something. Oh, we have PCE data. Oh, dude, this week stinks.
It's a crazy week, and I'm
PCE
telling you,
and jobless data.
Smart money is going to be in the mix.
Oh my God! And we have non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, manufacturing. Oh, dude, this week, guys, if you are watching this and you're trading this market, man, good luck to you, because Monday is the best day. Tuesday might be okay-ish, but it's still jobs data and consumer confidence. Wednesday sucks. GDP, non-farm, and Jerome Powell FOMC. Thursday sucks. PCE data and initial jobless claims, awful. Friday sucks. Average earnings, non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, manufacturing PMI, Michigan consumer expectations, and everything else there. Okay, awesome. So
this might be a good time to go over the Stock Traders Almanac for this week. Monday is neutral. Tuesday is bearish. Wednesday is bullish.
Okay.
Thursday is neutral. However, it is the last trading day in July. NASDAQ and S&P down 12 of last 19. Dow down last 13 of 19. Then we move to Friday, which is August 1, bearish. First trading day in August, Dow is down 18 of the last 27. The first 9 trading days of August are historically weak.
Okay.
Happy trading.
So what I'm hearing is full port everything Monday, and then hope for the best is what I'm hearing.
You'll full port on Tuesday when it's bearish, and then you'll sell on Wednesday when it's bullish.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is a wild week. Oh, there's gonna be so much.
By the way, not financial advice.
Yeah, of course, not financial advice. None of us are financial advisors. Even though the word financial is in my name, I am not a financial advisor. Okay, it just sounds really cool because it's 2 F's back to back. We all know alliteration. Alliteration sounds amazing. I know. Not a financial advisor. High school math. Keep that in mind. Degree on the wall says high school math teacher, not certified financial advisor. So
go back to the fear and greed fridge real quick.
Okay, just for you, I will do whatever it is you want me to
look at. What's interesting is a year ago we were in freed and we were also at all-time highs at that point. So it's kind of interesting to see that. A year ago we were in freed and we were at all-time highs at that time. So something to keep aware of for sure.
Different administration.
That's true. I mean, we were going to change presidents soon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So here's your extreme fear down here. This is where you're at fear from last year. Wow. That is insanity. That is absolutely well, that's gonna be a this whole week's gonna suck. We got earnings, we got economic calendar everywhere. This could be a time, how we always say that, sometimes it's good not to trade. The best trading is not trading. Maybe this is one of those weeks where we don't trade much because this is going to be some swings in this market.
No, this is my kind of trading. This is the shit I live for.
Yeah,
this is what I have been waiting for a long time. I hate a boring go up 0.3% every day trades. I hate it. It's been driving me batshit crazy. I am ready to get the show on the road. Either pull out all your money or put it in, do something, and let's get
something
going. Yes.
It's like the meme you see where it's like a stick. It's like a guy with a stick and he's like poking it. He's like, "Hey, do something." It's like poking like the stock market. Like, "Hey, can you do something, please?" Anything, whatever it is you want to do. Carly, so would you say the VIX could probably have some sort of spike? I feel like this week, right? With all this,
it has to move this week because it's really just fucking with things. It really is. It's really destroyed the leveraged ETFs because it's been in this compression and for so long now that LETFs are just going lower and lower and lower and lower. They're all at all-time lows. I keep wanting to say all-time highs because that's all we see. So we need a spike. It needs like a recalibration really bad. It does.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think out loud, because I mean, one of the strategies I'm trying to work on is overnight drift trading, where it's like you get a softly red day in the market, and then the next day, the overnight market makers like to sell off for higher premiums to reduce their risk. Monday to Tuesday wouldn't be bad because they might be trying to, if we get a red date on Monday, like tomorrow, and you might see some shift in the SPY and stuff like that overnight, because if they have a red day tomorrow, you might see those market makers overnight try to get rid of their inventory and get rid of their shares at higher prices to avoid their risk and stuff like that before all the major data happens Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So something for me to maybe keep an eye out for, see how the market reacts Monday night and Tuesday morning with overnight drift. I would love to trade futures, but I will not do that. Obviously, it's way too complicated for me. But very, I don't know, very interesting time in the market here. So I don't know. I don't know. We've been on here for like almost like 2 hours, right, guys? How are we doing?
Just under 2 hours. Just under 2
We
hours.
have.
So I'm gonna take the famous royalty trades here. I don't want to take up any more of your time, as you guys have been amazing for us all today. Do you guys have any final words of wisdom for the people on YouTube before we sign off, and then we all go full port into meme stocks Monday morning?
Keep your head on swivel. Keep your head on swivel because it's going to be a crazy week. So just be prepared. It moves both ways.
Love that. Yeah, that's 100% the best advice you could probably give is that you're going to be sitting there and be like, I'm up $200. Then you log back in 5 minutes later. Oh, I'm down $3,000. Oh, cool. Awesome. Like, so the markets move in ways that you can't imagine, whether it's a data point, whether it's an insider, whatever it could possibly be. You can see that market moving in instinct. And I think this is the week where you're going to see a lot of pivoting happening here. So, yeah, watch it out carefully. I love that. Fish, advice for the people besides buy MSTR and Bitcoin and hood calls for options for earnings?
Actually, I was going to say be very careful trading earnings.
Never
I'm
sure.
serious.
No, for
be
sure.
very careful trading this earnings season. The fact that we are at all-time highs and the greed index is teetering on extreme greed. That's pretty scary, man. If you're going into these trades, we have no idea where this is going to end up. It could be great, but IV could crush you as well by the time you're able to get out of it the next day. My advice, if you are thinking about trading the earnings seasons, if you can, try to trade the leveraged funds. At least that way you can get out if it doesn't go your way.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Good advice. There actually is, and they keep putting out more and more leveraged funds these days. I know there's a Reddit one, there's a Robinhood one, there's Tesla. Like, there's a lot of those leveraged ones, which I think it's basically like capitalizing on the move fish, but without the risk of getting IV crushed and losing like $100. You might lose maybe like $20-$30 if it sells off, kind of thing, right?
Correct. You can get out of it as soon as the earnings report comes out, and it says it's either good or bad. So you can try to capitalize on the profit on the spike up, or God forbid it goes against you. You can try to get out of it, early enough before the next day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's definitely one of those things to really think about. Like, if you're afraid of options, like leverage ETFs might be like the introduction to options, because leverage ETFs, I mean, options are a way of leveraging, right? Yeah. So instead of going right into options leveraging and then, watching your portfolio go down 15, 20, 30%, doing a leverage ETF, you still own the shares. In the worst case also, if you are bullish on NVIDIA and you go leverage ETF on NVIDIA and it doesn't do well in earnings, you own still shares of an exposure to NVIDIA long term. If you're bullish long term, then you will rebound at some point on those companies. So if you really want to be, if you really have that conviction on like Tesla, on NVIDIA, on Hood, on Reddit, you could just hold these leveraged shares. If they go up after earnings, great, cash out, make some good profit. If not, you could hold it for a little bit longer if you're bullish long term, and then you can still make your money back. Unlike options, which options have those expiration dates. So definitely some good advice, I think.
Add that they're really, really, really good for hedges also. So if you're a long-term holder of some of these quality stocks, the NVIDIA's, I hate to say Tesla, but Tesla, well, any of those, you can get the short side of them because they've got the bear side leveraged loans or leveraged ETFs. So you can build a little bit of the hedge in case things go bad also.
Definitely some good advice. Purunga, any advice for the people besides do some research on your animal trading strategies with options?
Yeah, I mean, to just echo Carly and Newfish, be careful, be smart, to take Tasty Trade likes to say trade small, trade often. Definitely keep it small and keep doing it because it's a numbers game. And I'd say the other thing is to the VIX queen here, IV is suppressed and it is mean reverting. So it's gonna spike. There's got to be a way. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it is. It's going to spike.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of
Yeah.
when.
Exactly.
This week is
And
going to
that
set the boys from the men.
and that is why we bring Parunga on here for those amazing advice, words of wisdom for trading, from Trading Works and all that. Trading Works, Parunga, correct?
Tasty trade, tasty live, tasty
Yep,
trade.
that's exactly what I said. I totally got it wrong.
No worries, my man.
Um, so guys, again, so we're gonna call it here for you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in at any point in time of watching this video. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Time to have you guys. Thank you guys all so much. Parunga, you're gonna be the one to end the stream whenever you would like to. Otherwise, you can sit here in awkward silence if you would like to, whatever your choice is. And guys, again, as always, trade smart. Follow everybody. Follow Carly. Follow Fish. Follow Parunga. Follow Fridge on After Hours. If you're not following us, then I don't know what you're doing wrong with your life. Make sure you're following us all for more, and we will be back next week with another podcast. And as always, stay safe with trading the markets.